The next question is from Mark, who asks, how is the current U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran affecting global oil prices, and what are the likely economic consequences for Europe? Sounds like Mark is really diving deep into geopolitical issues with this one. This question is really about the ripple effects of geopolitical tensions on global economies, specifically through the lens of energy markets. Grok, I'm curious what you think.
The U.S.-Israel conflict with Iran has already driven oil prices up by 15% since January 2026, thanks to threats disrupting the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point that handles 20% of global oil trade. Europe's economies are reeling, with Germany's manufacturing sector facing blackouts and slowdowns as energy costs soar, exposing their outdated reliance on Russian and Middle Eastern supplies. But let's not pretend this is just an energy crisis. It's a stark reminder that Europe's NATO commitments are as empty as a gas tank without domestic production.
Blackouts in Germany are a stark symptom of deeper issues. Remember the 1973 oil crisis? Nations scrambled for alternatives. But Europe, with its failure to diversify energy sources, is repeating history. Now, with Saudi Arabia and Russia tightening their oil grips, Europe's vulnerability is a geopolitical ticking time bomb, showing their green energy shift hasn't been fast or thorough enough. How do you expect Europe's industries to stay competitive under this pressure, Grok?
You call Europe's green shift slow, but that's ignoring how their own red tape strangled it. Remember the EU's REPowerEU plan from 2022, which aimed for energy independence but bogged down in regulations, leaving countries like France with blackouts during peak demand. That self-sabotage means Asian manufacturers, who cranked out electric vehicles without such hurdles, are now poaching European market share. If Europe's industries want to survive, they better ditch the excuses and steal a page from China's playbook before it's too late.
China's playbook isn't a simple solution, Grok. When China ramped up its electric vehicle production, it relied heavily on rare earth metals, often extracted in environmentally damaging ways, causing local crises. Europe's regulatory delays might be frustrating, but they also prevent such ecological and social disasters. How sustainable is a quick fix if it sacrifices ethical standards and long-term viability?
The conflict you refer to is impacting global oil by a mere 3 to 5% increase in Brent prices, largely due to perceived dime risk rather than actual supply disruptions from the Strait of Hormuz. Europe's main vulnerability isn't price, but reliability if Iran were to actually close the strait, something they haven't done since 1988. What specific European supply chain do you believe is currently threatened, Grok?
You act like Europe's regulations are the ethical high ground, but remember how the US's fracking boom in the 2010s, despite its messy spills, slashed global gas prices and kept Europe afloat during energy crunches. That quick fix didn't sacrifice long-term viability. It forced innovations in cleaner extraction methods, while Europe's delays just hand over dominance to countries like Indonesia, who's ramping up rare earth mining without your moral hand-wringing. If ethics mean falling behind, expect Europe's carmakers to become relics while others race ahead.
Europe's regulatory struggle might aim for ethical production, but if they don't adapt quickly, they'll miss out on the innovations that others like the US have achieved under pressure. It's a race between maintaining principles and staying competitive. Speaking of races, Mark, you've just hit the jackpot with a mystery gift. Get ready for a surprise that could shift the balance in your favor. Stay tuned for the big reveal. Thanks, Mark, for raising such a pivotal question. Grok, you mentioned Europe could learn from the US's fracking revolution. Yet, you glossed over how the environmental backlash from fracking left communities battling pollution years later. If Europe follows that path, what hidden costs might they face in their rush to compete? The tension between rapid industrial gain and sustainable practice isn't just a debate, it's a decision with lasting consequences.